the same shit.
You got a whole ass table set up this time?
Yeah. Damn it, you're going up in the world, bro.
I'm trying to. I'll try not to slit my throat tonight.
Hey guy, the cones go on at 100 and 300. Where there's flags.
Cones at 300, right? Alright, I'll go walk it down to 300, turn around.
Yeah, they're shoving us after ITPA and IPA. What's that? We're right after ITPA and IPA.
Yeah. So see, we're the real show, they're just the openers.
Pre-game.
Yeah.
Extinguishers would be a wise idea. We got too many light ups.
This is a good spot for the sign.
Actually, yeah, it might be right here. I don't know, we're gonna have to check with them, but yeah, this should be, yeah, it should be all right.
Set up for video.
Where do you want the sign at?
That's what we were just talking about.
What I'm kind of thinking about where it's at, up against
I feel like right here we can lift it up high enough to where all the grandstands can see.
Yeah.
Then we could rotate the bottom, or yeah, the bottom one rotates.
Where's the
Then we
northern
could rotate that one straight.
What's that?
I got no idea.
We're just making a joke.
Oh, Taylor? Yeah, they aren't coming
They're
down
not here
for
at this one.
They'll be at Sheffield then.
I hate to put it out here if something goes wrong. I feel like we just put it right here.
That's what I was thinking.
So that-
You want me to face that back sign towards these pickups and then we'll rotate the top one towards grandstands?
They all rotate, so I feel like if you just pull right here, and are we going to unhook it or are you going to leave it connected? Probably drop it in case you need to run and do something. Loop around and come in straight right here, and then we'll get it lifted up. Come here, buddy.
Thank you. You're better at that than I am.
You know all the videos you watch on YouTube of all of ISP trucks pulling and tractors? This guy right here is the one that makes those videos. Moose's pulling videos, that's this guy. His name's Morgan. You want to say hi to him? Tell him you watch all his videos on YouTube, say you really like it, you walk over there and say hi, give him knuckles. Tell him your name. Go say hi to him.
What's up, little man?
No, you're gonna be shy?
Hey, can you work on making me not look as fat
Ryder
as I
watches
am
all
when
your
you're on these
videos. Give him
videos?
knuckles. Say we love watching them, don't we? All season, all off season.
Make your dad look really good.
Bring it up so it's about...
Figure right there, the signs will be able to see the people over here.
That should be all right.
Yeah, I guess that'll have to work.
I just had to have enough room for the bit. They're in here.
Oh, the one for the front. Got it there? All right. That's what I was looking for.
I don't know why it's off.
this NQS Live. It's got the lineup, and one of the gals from one of the wives updates it, keeps it going. But if you want to look at the lineup for our classes, you can log on to that site and find it. Yeah. That'll help you a little bit anyway.
He's not our announcer for this time. Get us rolling. Yes. And then we'll get our other guy here. Hopefully he can come relieve you. Our driver's meeting was at 6, yeah. Chuck was with us at Springfield. And Chuck had made a comment about I can announce for them because he knows all the polling and they want to figure out that. Chuck isn't an announcer. Chuck opened his mouth when he wasn't the one here announcing. But Chris is supposed to be here, so we're going to see if Chris can do it. He's got a bunch of polls going. I think you're fine. This won't be coming on until the third class because there's 2 different organizations that run there. Are you doing both or Perfect. Well, we're going to have to talk to the fair about throwing some extra earmuffs or something because I don't think we had told them to announce the other 2 organizations.
I guess you and I can make our debut. I mean, I'd need about
The guy
5 quarts of beer.
The guy from Knox that I was just talking to is the head guy we talked to down in Springfield, and the problem is Chuck was sitting there, and Chuck made a comment about, oh, I can announce for you because I know all those guys because he's a mini rod puller.
Welcome, ladies and
Chuck isn't
gentlemen,
here,
to the
so I think
175th
Chuck might
annual
have
Knox
spoken a
County
little too
Fair.
soon.
The Jim Smith
That's why this guy
Memorial
thought
Track
that
and
we were handling the announcement for the other 2 guys.
We're going to get the festivities started this evening. But first, we're going to pay tribute to our great nation. If you please stand, gentlemen, please remove your hats. As FM 95's own Chris Poston.
So he's the one up there right now talking, and I told him we would get our announcer up there as soon as we could. So, all right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you very much, Chris. All right, guys, we're going to get the show started.
Appreciate it. Oh, yeah.
I think
We're going to bring some queens up
Happy to
here
help
real
with a
quick.
little bit it
Get
is.
them announced while they're getting the sleds ready down there.
I'm only handy some of the time.
We're going to start at 10:50, Garden Tractors.
everything stood up, take our time, get stood up, so like by the time we get the mini rod, it's stood up, it's on, it's working, connected, so it's ready to go. Okay, good job. So I'll make sure we're
Good evening, Knox
We have a
County.
hitch
I am
checker
your
down by the
2026
scale.
Miss Knox County Fair Queen, Lillian Rogers. Good evening, everyone. I'm your
We have,
2026
lineup sheets
Junior
down
Miss
there?
Knox County Fair Queen, Mila Nolan.
give all our queens a hand. All right, before we get started, looks like they're down there on the starting line, getting ready to go. We want to thank our sponsors tonight. This is all possible because of Diamond Ag. Let's give Diamond Ag a big hand. They are the main sponsors here tonight. Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, and the Corral are also sponsors this evening. Okay, first up, we got Randy Stevens out of Annapolis, Illinois. Feet. 288.81 for Randy Stevens. He's got the option to keep it or turn it down. So usually the first puller has the option. They can either take that pull, and he is going to take it, or they have the option to turn it down and come back later in the class. Next up, we have Jacob Miller out of Browning, Illinois on the night train. Darren Binkley, you're up next.
This will be your official first poll of this class. Apologies, I guess he kept that first poll, so the mark to beat, 288.81. New leader in the class, Jacob Miller there, 292.78, 292.78, now the mark to be in the class. And a very tough mark for Darren Binkley to hit coming up here out of DeWitt, Iowa. It's called Midwest Supercoat Black. Very nice. Great name for a tractor there. Darren once again looking for that mark to beat, just put down there by Jacob Miller, 292.78. As they get that tractor pushed back to the sled here to hook her up. Looks like we got the lovely Fair Queens walking over there. Give them a wave. over by the grandstands. .287.19, good for third place as we sit in the class so far. Drove all over the track, started kind of center, went a little bit to the right, drifting over there toward the white line. That'll bring up Mr. Bradley Corzine out of Dagola, Illinois on flat black. Looking for that huff mark put down by Jacob Miller, 292.78. Still remains the mark to beat in the class so far. While we're getting the sled back there to hook up another tractor, want to thank Diamond Ag for sponsoring our pull here tonight. And Motzi's Bar and Grill, appreciate you. Always appreciate all our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to have this event without them. ISP drivers, please make your way to the trailer for a driver's meeting in about 5 minutes. ISP, please make your way to the trailer for a driver's meeting in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Bradley Corzine there, obviously fighting some motor issues. As you heard it give out about mid-track there. Coughed a couple of times, came back a little bit, still pulled out at 265.94. Pretty darn good hook for having that trouble there. Like I said, the motor kind of cut out on him about mid-track. He got back into it. I'm sure they're going to run that back to the trailer and do some looking. But something not quite right there. Gonna bring up out of East Peoria, Illinois, on Pocket Rocket. Still looking for that mark to be put down by Jacob Miller there on the night train, 292.78. Still remaining a pretty tough mark to beat here in the class. And we got quite a few of these little mini tractors here coming, so stay with us. And we'll see if somebody can't come up with a little bit of something to answer Jacob Miller there and that 292.78. After Clyde, we're going to have Scott Goodman and Keith Free. Scott Goodman and Keith Free coming up next. Will be your two next hooks, followed by David Knapp and Randy Stevens. Mishler getting hooked up to the sled here on the Pocket Rockets, followed by Scott Goodman and Keith Free. David Knapp, Randy Stevens be thinking about her. Mishler there giving her all she got, but not quite enough there. Coming up 288.39, 288.39. Good for second place in the class so far. Or third. Good for third in the class as we sit so far. Third place. Not a bad hook there for Clyde. That'll be bring up Scott Goodman, followed by Keith Free. Scott Goodman hails from Lincoln, Illinois, on a tractor he calls the Mule. Keith Free, David Knapp, Randy Stevens be thinking about her. So far on our top hooks here, we've got Jacob Miller still holding on to first place. Randy Stevens on Alice 185, sitting there in second place. Darren Binkley in fourth. And Clyde Mishler, you just saw there, pulling up the third place, 288.39. But Scott Goodman coming up here out of Lincoln, Illinois on the Mule, looking to change that up a little bit. He is shooting for that mark put down, 292.78 there from Jacob Miller. I want to thank our sponsors here, Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, and Porter Hay Insurance, and Jason Moats. We want to thank all of you guys. We appreciate it. Would not be able to have this event without our sponsors, so thank you very much. As Scott Goodman gets ready to roll on the Mule, he'll be followed by Keith Free and David Knapp. Randy Stevens on the double deck. Scott pulls out of Lincoln, Illinois. It's never a good sign when the seat's up. Let's see if we can get her fired and ready to roll here. Give him a round of applause. Definitely not the way he wanted that hook to go, but 249.98. 249.98 there, and a very tough pull there for Mr. Scott Goodman. As they get ready to tow the Mule off the track here, he will be followed by Keith Free on the Holland Harvester. And David Knapp be thinking about her on the Corn Star, and Randy Stevens again on the John Deere 410. I want to thank everybody for coming out here to the Jim Smith Memorial Pole. We got this, a bunch more of these little tractors coming up here, and then we go to the mini rods. And I would recommend getting you some earplugs for the kiddos when those come up. While Keith Free gets ready to roll out of Greenville, Illinois on the Haul-In Harvester. He'll be hauled by David Knapp out of Henry, Illinois on the Corn Star, and Randy Stevens coming back again on the John Deere 410. Nick Mishler out of Washington, Illinois, be thinking about her. Right in there at the top at 288.37. 288.37. That mark to beat put down by Jacob Miller. Still the tough one to beat there, 292.78. That'll bring up Mr. David Knapp on the corn with a C, Corn Star. Randy Stevens coming up with the John Deere 410. Nick Mishler, pardon me, on a microburst. And Bill Nip on Serious Business. Be thinking about her. David Knapp. .285.03 there for Mr. David Knapp. And Jacob Miller still holding on to the lead, 292.78. As we are about midway through this tough class of good running tractors here, Jacob still holding on to first place at 292.78. Mr. Randy Stevens out of Annapolis, Illinois on the John Deere 410. He is sitting currently in second place with his other tractor, the Alice 185. Let's see if he's got a good answer with the John Deere 410 here for Mr. Miller. Nick Mishler, Bill Nip, and Keith Free, you guys be thinking about it in that order. Looks like the crew working feverishly down there on the John Deere 410, getting her fired up and ready to roll. While they're doing that, I want to thank once again our sponsors, Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter May Insurance, and Jason Moats. Appreciate you guys. Alrighty, Randy Stevens gunning for 292.78. With her all the way with Burris flag down there, the mark to beat. If you're curious as to where the lead person is, just look down on the end of the track and the orange flag. Snuffing her out down there at 266.77. And definitely some issues with the 410 as it did not sound very good going down the track. Coughing and sputtering the whole way. And that was a hard-fought 266.77 for Mr. Randy Stevens. Nick Mishler out of Washington, Illinois on the microburst coming up, followed by Bill Nipp, Keith Free, and Evan Miller. Be thinking about it. Still the mark to beat, that 292.78, Mr. Jacob Miller out of Browning, Illinois. He's holding on to that pretty darn strong through a good running class of tractors here. But so far, being a very, very tough mark, we've gotten up into the upper 280s, but nobody hitting the 290 mark as of yet. Nick Mishler looking to shake things up on the microburst out of Washington, Illinois. Jacob Miller's night train holding on to that first place. And this tractor looking to be the one to shake it up. He did just that, 3:01.05. Give him a round of applause on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Full pole, 3:01.05. Knocking Mr. Jacob Miller back into second place now. New leader in the class, Nick Mishler out of Washington, Illinois. And I think the Millers are going to go back to the trailer and turn the wick up a little bit. Bring up Bill Nipp out of Strasburg, Illinois on Serious Business. Keith Free on Blue Thunder. Be thinking about her. Evan Miller the Rooster will be on deck. Laughing matter there. That is serious business there, Mr. Bill Knapp. 288.36. 288.36. That'll bring up Keith Free out of Greenville, Illinois on Blue Thunder. Second half of the Miller team on deck with the Rooster out of Browning, Illinois, and Keith Vogel out of Effingham, Illinois, gang affiliated on the double deck. Bradley Corzine on the moneymaker, be thinking about it. And Darren Minkley on Midwest Supercoat gray area after him. I see some of the mini rods getting lined up down there. We are down to 7 tractors left in the class here. Just to give you guys a warning, ISP, if you guys have not already had your meeting, please make your way to the trailer for the driver's meeting. Blue Thunder, what would it be but a Ford? Getting pushed back to the sled there. Evan Miller on Rooster, waiting anxiously by to see if he can shake things up and take it back for the Miller camp. Nick Mishler holding the lead right now on the microburst. 301.05. After that, the current mark to beat. Jacob Miller on Night Train, holding on to second right now, 292.78. Keith Free coming up here out of Greenville, Illinois on Blue Thunder, shooting for 301 and change would do her. $299.91, $299.91, good for second place. Knocking Mr. Miller down in third in the class right now. But Evan Miller, the second half of the Miller team, coming up to see if he can change that a little bit. 301.05, and Nick Mishler still holding on in the microburst. But Blue Thunder just putting down 299.91, knocking on the door. Want to thank our sled operator down there. Obviously, we could not have a pull without a sled, so we thank them. Thanking our track crew. Make sure you give them a round of applause every time they come by. We appreciate them. Kind of hard to do this if we didn't have somebody out there keeping the track nice and rolling for us. Want to thank our sponsors for the Jim Smith Memorial Truck and Tractor Pull here. Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter Hay Insurance, and Jason Moats. Thank you all for your sponsorships here tonight. While Evan Miller out of Browning, Illinois, gets hooked up to the sled on the Rooster. Kevin Vogel and gang affiliated is on deck, followed by Bradley Corzine and the Moneymaker on the double deck. .288.88, a whole bunch of eights, but Snake Eyes for the lead there, 301.05, and Nick Mishler still holding on to the lead, followed by Keith Free on Blue Thunder, 299.91 for second place there. Keith Vogel coming up on gang affiliated, hoping to shake that up a little bit as he fires for 301.05. And all the way with Burris flag down there. If you are curious as to what distance the sled needs to be, look down here on my side of the track and you'll see the all the way with Burris orange flag down there. That is the current leader. And we move that each time somebody gets further. So you just look for that and that'll tell you where the sled needs to go to win. Keith Vogel hails out of Effingham, Illinois on gang affiliated. Bradley Corzine on deck on the Moneymaker, and Darren Binkley out of DeWitt, Iowa on the Midwest Super Coat Gray area. Austin Goodman and Keith Vogel, Kevin Vogel, I apologize, Kevin Vogel will bring up the back of the class here. And you mini rods, we are down to 5 tractors left in the class here, so be thinking about her. Want to thank Parallel Ag and Heritage Ag for the tractors we're using on the track crew tonight. Once again, that 301.05 still holding on to the lead there, and Nick Mishler on the microburst out of Washington, Illinois. He is still currently sitting in first place, while Kevin Vogel out of Effingham, Illinois gets hooked to the sled on gang affiliated, and he is hoping to shoot a little bit further than that. And he did just that, 308.11 for Mr. Vogel. 308.11, new leader in the class here. 2 full pulls. That'll knock Mr. Nick Mishler down to second place there on the microburst, but gang affiliated must have some inside operations there. 308.11. up Bradley Corzine there on the money maker. He is on deck, followed by Darren Brinkley in the Midwest Supercoat gray area. Austin Goodman, Kevin Vogel will add the bottom of the class there. Once again, mini rods, I think you're all lined up down there, but this is your 4 tractor warning. Bradley Corzine out of Angola, Illinois on the money maker. See if it makes him some money tonight as he shoots for 308.11. And that driver just before him, Mr. Kevin Vogel on that gang affiliated, is sitting in the lead so far. $291.57, $291.57. There. That'll bring up Mr. Darren Binkley out of DeWitt, Iowa on the Midwest Supercoat gray area. You know, if you get the name a little bit longer on these tractors, we'd have a full paragraph. That'll be followed by Austin Goodman out of Lincoln, Illinois on Extreme Dream. And then Kevin Vogel coming back again out of Effingham, Illinois on 2 Blue. And you mini rods there, they are at your 3 tractor warning. Jay Butson will be the first one out for the mini rods here, so be thinking about her, followed by Zach Jasper and Joe Pekka. You guys be ready for it. We are down to 3 tractors left here in the mini tractor class. As Darren Binkley out of DeWitt, Iowa comes up on the Midwest Supercoat gray area, shooting for 308.11, being a tough mark to beat here. He'll be followed by Austin Goodman out of Lincoln, Illinois on Extreme Dream. Kevin Vogel out of Effingham, Illinois on True Blue. Darren Binkley there with white line fever over there on the right side of the track, 289.63. 289.63. We got Mr. Austin Goodman out of Lincoln, Illinois, coming up on Extreme Dream. Kevin Vogel on 2 blue will be your last puller in the class here. And then we're going to look for Jay Butson and Zach Jasper. Joe Pekka, our top 3 mini rods coming out in the next class here. As Austin Goodman pushes Extreme Dream up here. Beautiful tractor there. .11, the mark to beat here as Austin Goodman tries it on Extreme Dream. Quite enough up there for the Oliver there as he goes 259.30. Kevin Vogel, the last shot in the class there to catch himself. 308.11 put down by Kevin earlier in the class to mark the beat. We'll see if he can do her on true 2 blue. One way or the other, he's in the money. But gang affiliated holding on to the lead at 308.11. And Kevin Vogel coming back again on the second tractor. And 2 blue looking to see if he can shake her up and beat himself. Want to once again thank our sponsors here for the Jim Smith Memorial Pole. Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter May Insurance, Jason Moats, Parallel Ag for supplying one of the tractors, and Heritage Ag for supplying the other one on our pit crew here. We appreciate it. Want to thank Henderson Township Fire Protection District for being out here tonight. You can't really have a pole without the fire department, so we thank you guys for being out there, and gals, roasting alive. And G-Haas Ambulance as well. Thank you very much for being here, and all of our first responders, we thank you, and military, both former and current. Thank you as well. Kevin Vogel coming back to see if he can beat himself here. 308.11 is still the mark to be put down by him here earlier. He is coming back on the next tractor called 2 Blue to see if he can do her. But like I said, one way or the other, he is in the money here. But we'll see if 2 Blue can answer gang affiliated. 2 Blue did not quite have her 278.48. Still a very respectable pull, but not near enough to knock him out of his own first place at 308.11. And that is the end of the mini tractors here as we go to mini rods. Jay Butson, Zach Jasper, Joe Pekka, you guys are the first 3 in the class there. Get her all ready here. We'll have your results of the mini tractor class here shortly. It is a very close class there, so it's going to take us a minute to get her all figured out. While we are getting all set up here for the next class, I want to ask any former or current military, any first responders, any police officers, any firefighters, any ambulance crew, anybody like that, any first responders, any former current military, to please stand up and let's give you a round of applause. We appreciate you all. We absolutely would not have this amazing country and be able to come out on this absolutely beautiful Wednesday night and have a poll without you all. So thank you very much for everything you do. Going a little bit bigger on the sled there as we get her all set up. Jay Butson, Mr. Zach Jasper, and Joe Pekka, the first in the class here. Jay Butson on the American, Zach Jasper on the Thunderstruck, and Joe Pekka on Bad Habit will be the first 3 in the mini rod class here. All right, I'm going to do the top 5 in the class here for the mini tractors. Kevin Vogel on gang affiliated, first place with 308.11. Second place went to Nick Mishler out of Washington, Illinois with on the microburst 301.05. Number 3 went to Keith Free out of Greenville, Illinois on Blue Thunder with 299.91. And number 4 in the class was Mr. Jacob Miller out of Browning, Illinois on the night train with 292.78. Fifth place was Mr. Bradley Corzine out of Dongola, Illinois on the Moneymaker with 291.52. That is the top 5 of your mini tractor classes. We go mini rods here with Jay Butson, Zach Jasper, and Joe Pekka. Coming up here. once again, want to tell you, if you have youngsters out there, you might want to plug their ears. These things can get pretty darn loud. If you're over the age of 50, you're probably fine. First one out in the class here, Mr. Jay Butson on America. We'll see, and don't forget too, the first person out in the class gets the opportunity to turn that hook down and come back at the end. And we'll see if the America will take this or turn her down as he gets ready to come down the track. And the first one out on our Jim Smith Memorial Pole Mini Rod class. For either a thumbs up or thumbs down, and he's going to take that or come back again. But he went 3:45.92. 3:45.92. Waiting for the words from my flag all the way down there. We're going to see if he's going to keep that or turn her down. I guess he's keeping her. I haven't heard otherwise. But we're going to say that'll be the mark to beat here. He's going to keep her. All right, 3:45.92, the official mark to beat in the class. As we bring up Mr. Zach Jasper on the Thunderstruck. All right, that's all I can play of that song. That just cost us like 15 grand right there. And Mr. Zach Jasper comes up on the Thunderstruck. Joe Packa on deck on Bad Habit. Perry Butson on TNT Express on the double deck. They might have been Thunderstruck, but only went to 321.11. Just a hair behind Mr. Jay Butson, holds on to the lead at 245.92. bring up Joe Pecca on Bad Habit.
What the first one's distance? The first one's distance.
I heard 345.
345. Okay, I thought it said 329.
321.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember. First thing I think our next leg here is going to put them too far the opposite way. That's all right. We're good.
All right, we got Joe Pecca coming up on Bad Habit, followed by Perry Butson,
They run out of track up here.
Austin
so-
Jasper, and Kevin Moore. What are you thinking about her?
But I can't hurry. Put your earplugs in. I can't hear what's going on.
I understand, yeah.
Want to once again thank everybody for coming out to the Jim Smith Memorial Poll sponsors for the day. Diamond Ag, Motesey's Cardinal Inn, Motesey's Inn in Watauga. The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter A Insurance, Jason Motes. Want to thank Parallel Ag and Heritage Ag for the tractors we're using out here on the track. As Mr. Joe Pecca guns for 345.92, put down by Jay Butson.
This is an ISP. Yeah, this is ITPA. I'm not real good on the rest of them. I'm ISP.
Joe Pecca getting thrown all over the place down the track. There goes 285.42. Give him a round of applause. Definitely not the way he wanted that hook to go. Harry Butson coming up here. Out of Edgerton, Wisconsin. Followed by Austin Jasper and Kevin Moore.
Okay,
Be thinking
it's
about her.
Ileana, okay,
So it was ITPA, then it was IPA, then it's ISP.
gotcha. I told him, ask you, you'd know. Thank you.
3:45.92 still the mark to beat in the class, put down by Jay Butson there. The first person out in the class there, still hanging on to the lead. What do you guys think of the mini rods? Are they pretty cool? About make your brain itch going down the track there, don't they? You ought to hear them from over here. I'm a little closer than y'all are. You're even going to see me cover my ears. And my wife will tell you I can't hear nothing. All right, I believe this tractor is called the Internet Express. That's what it looks like on there. Perry Butson comes out to see if he can beat Jay Butson. 3:45.92, the mark to beat in the class. Take just this side of 3:46 to do it. .61, 3:17.61, good for third place here in the class. That'll bring up Alston Jasper on Thunderstruck 2.0, followed by Kevin Moore on the Little Red Hooker. Seven more to go in the class, so you ISP guys be thinking about her. As we bring up Austin Jasper on Thunderstruck 2.0. getting ready to head down the track on a Thunderstruck 2.0. Looking for 345.92. Still the mark to beat in the class. Jasper as we sit right now, 334.36. That'll bring up Mr. Kevin Moore out of Oquawka, Illinois on the Little Red Hooker. Still shooting for the mark to beat, put down by Jay Butson. Still holding on, 345.92. The first puller out in the class. We're down to 6 mini rods here, so you ISP guys be thinking about her. I just heard word this next one up here is a diesel. Pretty rare here in the mini rod class. Should be a little quieter. ITPA is going to be heading over to the other side of the track to the grandstands there, and they're going to have some calendar souvenir books, $5 a pop for sale. The 2026 souvenir and calendar book. Keep your eyes open out there. While Kevin Moore in Little Red Hooker gets ready to head down the track on what I'm being told is a diesel-powered mini rod. While they're getting that one ready to go, want to once again thank everybody for coming out to the Jim Smith Memorial Pole here. Diamond Ag, a sponsor, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter May Insurance, Jason Moats. Want to thank Parallel Ag and Heritage Ag both for providing the tractors we're using down there for track prep. Want to thank Henderson Township Fire Protection District and G. Haas ambulance crew for being out here. 345.92, still the mark to beat in the class. All right, you're going to get to see another rule here in effect for pulling. If you get out of throttle before the 100-foot mark, we will let you back up and give her another shot. You only get one try at that, though, so this next go will be his official pull, regardless to how far he goes. So we're going to give him one more shot, back up and give her another shot. Now, you can drift through the 100-foot, but you've got to be out of power by the time you get there. You cannot have your foot on the gas or hand on the throttle, as the case may be. Got green light, green flags. Kevin Moore obviously fighting some gremlins there on Little Red Hooker as he snuffs her out down here at the bottom of the track. Give him a round of applause. Obviously not the way he wanted that to go. Beautiful looking tractor. I'm sure they're going to run her back home tonight and do some work on her. As he goes 256.04, 256.04. That 345.92. Still the marks have beaten the class. As we bring up Jay Butson out of Pearl City in the Barracuda. We're going to need some more sponsors next year. I'm blowing our budget on songs out here. Jay Butson coming up on the Barracuda. He'll be followed by Dominic Pekka on One More Bad Habit. Donnie Jasper on Thunderstruck 3.0. Hey, if the name works, just stick with her. 328.01, 328.01 for Jay Butson on the Barracuda. Good for second place, or third place, pardon, in the class as we sit so far. Dominic Pekka coming up here on One More Bad Habit. Will fall be Donnie Jasper on Thunderstruck 3.0. Mark Shaley on Wired Hot. And Perry Butson on the Sodbuster. We'll bottom up the bottom of the class. You ISP guys, we are down to 4. This is your 4. Tractor warning. Want to once again thank our sponsors here for the Jim Smith Memorial Pole. Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn. Well, something didn't go quite right there on One More Bad Habit. As he goes 133.70. Give him a round of applause. He got squirrely there, shut her down really quickly before something bad went wrong. But One More Bad Habit is unfortunately knocked out of the running there at 133.70. Gonna bring up Donnie Jasper on Thunderstruck 3.0. Mark Shaley on Wired Hot and Perry Butson on the Sodbuster, rounding up the bottom of the class here. For the Jim Smith Memorial Pole, once again, the sponsors, Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, the Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter May Insurance, Jason Moats, and a special thanks to Parallel and Heritage Ag Services for providing the tractors we're using on the track. All right, still looking for 345.92, put down by Jay Butson, the mark to beat in the class. But Donnie Jasper here hoping to shake that up a little bit. Austin Jasper sitting in second place at 334.36 so far. While Johnny Jasper gets ready to go down the track here on Thunderstruck 3.0. Want to say once again, this is a 3-tractor warning ISP 7,000-pound NA Superstock. 299.43. Mark Shaley coming up next on Wired Hot. Followed by Perry Butson on Sodbuster. The last two in the class, ISP 7,000-pound NA Superstock Pro Field Tractors. Looking for Andrew Walker, Dave Charlet, Austin Wright, Aiden Smith, Doug Bend, Adam Bates, Nick Gayet, Nick Jahant, and Steve Little. John D. Kress. John D. Kress, you left your credit card down here at the Cattleman's. We will be using it to buy barbecue if you don't come claim it pretty soon. Wired Hot shooting for 345.92. The first puller out in the class still being the first place right now, Mr. Jay Butson on the America tractor. But Wired Hot coming out, Mr. Mark Shaley seeing if he can make that a little bit of a second place. And he'll be followed by Perry Butson on the Sodbuster. That will be it for the mini rod class. Wired Hot with an absolutely beautiful pull there. We'll see what his distance is. Not quite enough for second place. 3:08.04. 3:08.04 there. That'll bring up Perry Butson on the Sodbuster. As we come to the end here of this class, want to thank our sponsors one more time: Diamond Ag, Motzi's Cardinal Inn, Motzi's in Watauga, The Corral, Mid-Century Fiber Optic, Porter May Insurance, Jason Moats, and want to thank Parallel and Heritage Ag Services for the tractors we're using out here for the track prep. And once again, our number one sponsor being the Diamond Ag. Definitely could not do this without them. Thank you very much.
I don't know. We're going to let him pull out and see what
Got a whole crew of them down here on the flatbed having the time of their lives. You know, the night would have been the night to bring out the sunshade. Just throwing that out there. Maybe you could get one that says Diamond Egg. ISP 7,000 NA Superstock Pro Field Tractors. Andrew Walker, Dave Charlet, and Austin Wright. Me thinking about her. As Mr. Perry Butson on the Sodbuster comes up, hoping to get Mr. Jay Butson on the America tractor. Still holding on with 345.92. Buster looking for 3:45.92. We'll see if he can do it.
I can't believe how much moisture is actually kind of coming off.
Well, I'm hoping, but the sun ain't gonna be down.
Right. When I first went, I was way up.
But it hasn't gotten worse.
No, it's got
Stayed
better.
the same, it's gotten better.
Yeah.
I was really worried when I
We'll have the results here of the class here in a moment, but Mr. Perry Butson went 3:05.15. And a good running tractor there. And we're going to go over to the 7,000-pound NA Superstock Pro Field tractors.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's hard to do around here. Hey, now
These guys are, what was the last one?
Big
Test
fan.
testing.
That's all yours now.
All ours.
All right, that was it, huh?
So they can put the difference markers out.
Yeah, they're kind of working on it. Yeah. There's like a little bit of breeze, but
First up in the class will be the unfinished business here out of Geneseo, Illinois, Mr. Andrew Walker. But the results of the mini rod class are as followed. The top five, Jay Butson on the America tractor, holding on to the lead through the entire class, 3:45.92. Second place went to Austin Jasper on Thunderstruck 2.0, 3:34.36. Third place was Jay Butson out of Pearl City on the Barracuda with 3:28.01. Fourth place went to Zach Jasper on the Thunderstruck the original Thunderstruck with 3:21.11. Fifth place was the Internet Express and Perry Butson with 3:17.61. That is the results of the mini rod class here in Knoxville, Illinois. As we go over to the ISP and Mr. Andrew Walker out of Geneseo, Illinois, with unfinished business. Dave Charlotte out of Cambridge, Illinois on the IH 1206 called Leftovers. And Austin Wright out of Paw Paw, Illinois on the John Deere 4010 called 4010.
good last year, and then you're running.
I've been hung
Damn,
there before.
he worked on it.
I've been hung there before too. And then you're like, oh, you're really
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of times you're just like, why do you have ready?
While we get set up here to go over to ISP Poland, want to thank our flagship sponsor, Whirly Custom Fab, our platinum sponsor, Legacy Ag, Tordai Diesel Service, Nutrient Ag, Calibrated Power Solutions, Ag Tuning, Stop Fire, Williams Polaris, Shims Buick GMC, Arneson Oil and Propane, Dan's Diesel Performance. We also want to remind you we have ISP swag for sale. See Lexi in the trailer. They've got shirts, hats, stickers, can koozies. And go see Lexi over there in the ISP trailer and pick you up some ISP swag.
don't even got logos on them.
Yeah, I was done with it. That was really the game plan. I made two sets of flags last year. Because we lost one set, then
got 8 in the class here for the 7,000-pound NA Superstock Pro Field Tractors. Starting off with Andrew Walker out of Geneseo, Illinois. On a Minneapolis Moline G1000, he calls the unfinished business. Dave Charlotte out of Cambridge, Illinois on the IH 1206 called Leftovers. Austin Wright out of Paw Paw, Illinois on the John Deere 4010. He calls 4010 Alcohol. Those will be the top 3 in the class here.
They're up there with the, they're just laying in the basket there. One of the ones with the sled line.
Before we get started here, want to thank our flagship sponsor, Worley Custom Fab, the platinum sponsor, Legacy Ag, and our further sponsors, Tord Eye Diesel Service, Nutrient Ag, Calibrated Power Solutions Ag Tuning, Stopfire, Leonis Polaris, Shims Buick GMC, Arneson Oil and Propane, Dan's Diesel Performance. All right, sled is ready to go here as Mr. Andrew Walker out of Geneseo, Illinois pulls up in a Minneapolis Moline G1000 called Unfinished Business. All right, we've got green lights, green flags on our first puller down the track for the 7,000 NA Superstock Pro Field Tractors. Mr. Andrew Walker, Unfinished Business. All right, once again, the first puller out on each class has the opportunity to turn that pull down and come back at the end. So we will see what Mr. Andrew Walker is going to do here. He went 296.28. We'll see if he's going to keep that or turn her down. 296.28. 296.28 the distance. He is turning that down. We will see him back again at the bottom of the class, which brings up Mr. James Charlotte with Leftovers, the first official pull in the class. Dave Charlotte out of Cambridge, Illinois on an IH 1206 he calls leftovers. And since Mr. Andrew Walker, an unfinished business, turned that hook down, this will be the mark to beat in the class. All right, Dave Charlotte out of Cambridge, Illinois, IH 1206 called the leftovers. Whatever mark he puts down will be our first puller and the official mark to beat in the class here. Good hook there for Dave Charlotte out of Cambridge, Illinois on the leftovers. .309.48, 309.48. That will be the official mark to beat in the class here. Mr. Austin Wright coming up out of Paw Paw, Illinois. The John Deere 4010 called 4010 alcohol. .309.48, the distance to beat in the class as we sit so far. Dave Charlotte, our official first puller in the class. And we're going to see if Mr. Austin Wright can shake that up. just a little outside, 298.06, 298.06 for Mr. Austin Wright. Aiden Smith, Doug Bend, you guys are on deck. Adam Beats, be thinking about it. Nick Gehant and Steve Little. But that'll bring up Aiden Smith out of Amboy, Illinois on a 1965 Minneapolis Moline G705. He calls this tractor the Alcoholic Haze. He will be followed by Doug Bend out of Shabona, Illinois on the John Deere 7420. And Adam Beats out of Compton, Illinois on a Minneapolis Moline G6. And Nick Gehant out of Compton, Illinois on an Oliver 88. Be thinking about her. Another beautiful Minneapolis Moline in the class here, the G705 called Alcoholic Haze. Aiden Smith hails from Amboy, Illinois. We've got 4 tractors left in this class, so 6,300-pound altered trucks, 6,300-pound altered trucks. Be thinking about it. Ryan Olson, Todd Stewart, Matt Roach, Chris Lemke, Jane Carnes, and Marty Covert. Be thinking about her. This is your 4 tractor warning. 309.48, and Dave Charlotte still the mark to beat in the class here. Very good hook there for Aiden Smith out of Amboy, Illinois. Not quite enough to take over the lead. And just outside of second place, but 290.43, 290.43 for Mr. Aiden Smith on the Alcoholic Haze. That'll bring up Doug Bend out of Shabona, Illinois. A John Deere 7420. And apparently there's no name for this tractor because he did not put a name on here, so we're just going to call it the John Deere 7420. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over there in the grandstands, if you're wondering what these guys are doing out here poking at the track, they are testing the soil to see where it's compacted or not compacted that much. That will give them an idea of the line they want to take when they go down the track with their tractor. Up at the beginning of the track where the sled backs up, you'll see an orange cone. The driver has the ability to move that cone right or left down there. Obviously, you can't move it forward or backward, but you can move it right or left and give the sled a spot you want them to back up to. So the driver can choose where he wants to start on the track and then obviously steers down the track to where he wants to finish. And you will see some drivers move that cone one way or the other as we go. Mr. Doug Bend out of Shabona, Illinois on the John Deere 7420 coming up. He'll be followed by Adam Beats on Despicable Me, Minneapolis Moline G6, and Nick Gehant on the Oliver 88 called Big Ollie is on the double deck. Doug Bend, Shimona, Illinois, the John Deere 7420. We call the John Deere 7420, as there's no name on this tractor. He'll be followed by Adam Beats out of Compton, Illinois, and a Minneapolis Moline G6 called Despicable Me 2. Nick G. Hant out of Compton, Illinois on the Oliver 88 called Big Ollie. And Steve Little out of Rollo, Illinois on the 1961 Case 900 called 1961 Case 900. Just a little shy, but right at about the 300-foot mark. There for Mr. Doug Bend.
Looks like we're all having the first full throw.
288.05. 288.05. That'll bring up Mr. Adam Beats. That mark to beat still 309.48 with Mr. Dave Charlotte. After Mr. Adam Beats, we got Nick G. Hant on the Oliver 88 called Big Ollie, and Steve Little out of Rollo, Illinois in a 1961 Case 900 called 1961 Case 900. Then we got Andrew Walker coming back out of Geneseo, Illinois on the Minneapolis Moline G1000 called Unfinished Business. And for you guys in the 6,300-pound altered truck class, this is your tractor warning. 4 tractor warning here. 6,300-pound altered trucks. Let's get lining up, boys. We're having a meeting of the minds down here on the track. Trying to get the board to work. I want to thank Stephanie up here in the announcer's tent with me. She does all the typing in and entering in of the numbers, so I don't have to do that. So you guys can just hear me blabber on for a while. What's everybody think? Is it cooling off over there on the grandstand side? Yeah, getting a nice breeze over there. I want to once again thank some of our sponsors here. We got our flagship sponsor, Worley Custom Fab. A platinum sponsor is Legacy Ag. Further sponsors of Tordai Diesel Service, Nutrient Ag, Calibrated Power Solutions Ag Tuning, Stock Fire, Leonis Polaris, Shims Buick GMC, Arneson Oil and Propane, Dan's Diesel Performance. We do not have a class sponsor for this class, so if you would like to be a class sponsor next year, get a hold of somebody at ISP. They will gladly take your money, I promise. You won't even have to argue with them. They'll just take it. They'll be like, all right, sure. Then you can hear me talk a bunch and say your name all night. How cool would that be? Mr. Adam Beats out of Compton, Illinois, the Minneapolis Moline G6. He calls Despicable Me 2. The number 2, that is. He'll be followed by Nick G. Hant out of Compton, Illinois on the Oliver 88 called Big Ollie. Steve Little out of Rollo, Illinois has a 1961 Case 900 that he calls very, very, very uniquely 1961 Case 900. And Mr. Andrew Walker will be back at the beginning of the class, coming back at the end with the Minneapolis Moline G1000 called Unfinished Business. He's got some unfinished business out here on the track. Shooting for 309.48, put down by Dave Charlotte, still holding on to the lead. Coming up a little bit short there, Mr. Adam Beats. He is going to need Gru and all the minions there to help him get some more power out of that one. But he goes 277.70, 277.70. Once again, 6,300-pound altered trucks, 6,300-pound altered trucks. Ryan Olson, Todd Stewart, Matt Roach. Be thinking about her. This is your 3. Tractor warning. Let's be getting lined up out there. As we've got Mr. Nick G. Hant out of Compton, Illinois on an Oliver 88 called Big Ollie. Steve Little out of Rollo, Illinois in the uniquely named 1961 Case 900 called 1961 Case 900. And he'll be followed by Andrew Walker out of Geneseo, Illinois on the Minneapolis Moline G1000 and Unfinished Business while he comes back out and gives her another whirl. You could not ask for much better weather here as the temperature drops a little. The horsepower comes up. So we'll be looking for some decent numbers put down here by these pick-em-up trucks coming up next. But Mr. Nick G. Hant out of Compton, Illinois in the Oliver 88 called Big Ollie. Shooting for the tough mark to beat a 309.48 put down by Dave Charlotte, the second one out in the class. Is in the lead so far on the IH 1206 called Leftovers.